What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and this is gonna be an analysis on R Duel Cavalry 4 as well as G Duel Flying 4. So these are the new skills that we have got from the Spring Banner, and I'll be going over the best users of it. Now in case you missed my first video on this, I go over if tier 4 dual skills are worth it or not. There are pros and cons, so you could take a look at that if you're interested. The link to it is going to be in the description. And as always, if you guys do enjoy these kinds of analysis videos, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe, as I do upload daily FEH content. So let us begin, and let us start with G Duel Flying 4, because I feel like this is a bit better than R Duel Cavalry 4 because of the options it has got. So Spring Inigo has got this skill, and it is very important to keep in mind that these two skills, which I'm featuring in this video, are present on a banner that does not have a spark system, which means that you might have to spend hundreds upon hundreds of orbs trying to get these dual skills, which could be a turnoff for many people compared to the sparkable dual skills that we have got in the past. So that's definitely something that you have to keep in mind. So the tier 4 dual skills can basically make your unit score as 180 BST in scoring game modes like Arena, and if they're legendary or mythic unit, then they can score 175 BST. So Spring Inigo has got G Duel Flying 4 as well as attack speed drain 3 and the double rally skill. So if you already have G Duel Flying from Spring Veronica, then you could inherit either of these skills to a unit. Let's take a look at the best users of this skill. By far the best user of this skill is gonna be Brave Micaiah. Keep in mind that she's about to get a weapon refined this year, so she's gonna be aging much better. And Brave Micaiah just has so much going on for her as a G Duel Flying 4 unit. The reason being is that she's got the dual effectiveness with Light of Dawn, so that is really good against cavalry and armor units, and the weapon also gives her extra stats based on the debuffs that the opponent has got going. So that can make her even better. She already comes with Sacrifice, which can really help you in pinch situations by healing up your units, as you don't really have any other way of healing other than maybe Ether or Mystic Boost. So Sacrifice does work as a harsh command as well as a healing assist in a way, which is really good. And another reason is that Yune's Whispers is a 300 SP slot B skill, which is basically Sabotage, Attack and Speed combined into one. And whenever we have a unit like this who has a 300 SP slot B skill, we can run a tier 4 or a 300 SP slot C skill and pretty much make them score as if they were a 185 BST unit. So Brave Micaiah can score much better than all of these other flying units because of having this exclusive slot B skill, and that's why she's really good. Having a flying unit and having a flying mage has a lot of its benefits. The mobility is of course really good, and because she's a mage, she can also activate the Sorcery Blade Sacred Seal of many of your infantry physical allies. And having a range unit also means that it's gonna be easier to manipulate the AI, as they'll be looping into for the rallies, so that can be pretty helpful. And Brave Micaiah just seems like the best option for this skill, even though she's not really free to play friendly. She is, a unit you have to plus and merge with the banners, but she's gonna be getting a Choose Your Legends rerun probably next month with the Golden Week, and whenever her refine happens, that's probably also gonna be happening. So she's gonna be having some chances of appearance. So if you're a big Micaiah fan, then definitely consider her. Cannot stress it enough how good she's gonna be with this skill. The next two units I have are free to play friendly units, which a lot of people build up. Minerva is a really popular merge project, so G Duel Flying does just bring her up to the speed and the modern standard of BST, which is good. She unfortunately has to let go of Dragoon Shield, so she again is weak to flying units. But still, she is a pretty decent unit, and Dragoon Axe does have the guard effect and the -1 special cooldown, so that is really good. But keep in mind that many times against Whale plus 10 units, Minerva cannot really one-shot them or one-round KO them. So in that situations where the opponent is not at full HP, Dragoon Axe is not really going to be giving her the extra effects. So that is something you have to keep in mind, and that's why Ruptured Sky could be run if you want to just increase your one-round potential. But most people do run Ether as it is easier to get, and having guidance on your flying unit can definitely help the mobility of your flyer and armor allies if you have them in your core. Cherche is also a pretty good unit because she already has really high HP, so she really appreciates the G Duel Flying's extra HP. And if you run something like Summoner Support, then you're going to be getting tremendous value out of the Panic Ploy built into her weapon refine, and that is really great. And she can still, easily trigger Heavy Blade with some attack support and use that for Gale Force. We don't really have too many good options for slot B for flyers, so Dull Close is pretty much the bootleg lull skill basically that doesn't really give any kind of debuff, so that can be done. Flying Nino is also really amazing because of her true damage, so she could be run with this, and aerobatics can provide her with some really good mobility, and she's definitely one of the more premium ones that you can invest into with this skill. Myrrh is also another one of those premium units which a lot of people do like to build up, even though she's quite rare to get. She can function with Green Duel Flying quite well because she does have the flyer mobility, and because she can target the resistance of the foes, that is pretty good. With Great Flames, Weapon Refine, and Dragon's Ire, she pretty much ends up having enough follow-up, which is quite rare for, dragons and flying dragons specifically. So it makes for a really good combo. Unfortunately, she cannot really run Distant Counter or IO Shield, so those weaknesses are going to be there. She cannot really take on the range units as well, but still, she does have the follow-up negation with Great Flame, which is based on her defense, so at least she can prevent the doubles, and that is really good. Haar is also one of the many flying green units that many people try to merge up. He can definitely make use of Dex Swabber because flying units don't have access to lull skills, and this pretty much gives you lull attack defense, which is really valuable in Arena where everyone uses rally skills and visible buffs. So this could be run on Haar, and you can make use of his high HP stat with Panic Ploy. Mythic units like Triandra can also make use of the Green Duel Flying 4 and just be such a good support unit in Arena, and a dancer in Arena just makes things so much easier for you. It's absolutely amazing. Yune is also another Mythic option, but she's really not as good as Triandra, of course, because she doesn't have dance. She's still gonna be facing trouble against many of the distant counter units because she can only run an impact skill, but still she can provide you with the sabotage and the chaos named support. And another unit which I see many people recommending is Reyson. I personally wouldn't really recommend him if you're running his default dance skill, because if you run the dance skill on Reyson while having Green Duel Flying 4, then he's going to be scoring 6 points less than any of these units who have a high scoring assist skill. So not having a preferred dance like Triandra does hold him back quite a lot, and I really wouldn't recommend it because you're spending like so many hundreds of orbs trying to get this Green Duel skill, and then you're running it on a unit who doesn't even score to like the maximum potential with that kind of dance skill. So I think it's really gonna be unoptimal usage of that, so I personally wouldn't really recommend that. You could still use Reyson for his passive healing in Arena if you wanna replace his dance with some kind of high scoring assist skill. Then you might as well run some other flying unit because they're going to be having much better combat potential than Reyson. So that is my opinion on Reyson personally. If you don't really care about Arena scoring and you just want to use your Reyson, then yeah, that's all fine. But if you're trying to score high in Arena, then I wouldn't really recommend that. And then we move on to R Duel Cavalry. Now, the reason why I say that Green Duel Flying is much better is because we don't have that many options for R Duel Cavalry. I feel like Blue Duel Cavalry is going to be seeing some usage as well, and Green Duel Cavalry is also something that many people are going to be looking forward to, including me, because Cecilia is going to be usable. So this is the first time that we have got a dual skill for a cavalry unit, which makes them viable for arena usage because it brings them up to 180 BST, which is really amazing. Still, this is a pretty decent option if you have invested into some kind of red cavalier and you end up getting Severa, so she could be useful there. Unfortunately, we cannot really inherit other skills from her at the same time because all of your 4 inheritance slots are going to be gone into the dual skill. So the first option, which everyone is going to be speaking of, is going to be Eliwood, Resplendent Eliwood to be specific. So he can get extra stats from this, which is really good on top of his Resplendent stats, having pretty good defense, resistance, and he can double fair amount of units. But keep in mind, a lot of the arena maps are really unfriendly to cavalry units because of their trench placement. So their melee cavalry units like these are going to be struggling with their movement. Yes, movement does matter in Arena. Not being an armor unit is definitely helpful, but I would argue that being able to tank and bait out stuff, many of the ranged duo units and stuff like that, and win matchups is really important as well. But still, Eliwood, at least being a cavalry unit, can function in Arena with this skill, which wasn't really possible previously, so many people can invest into this, but you'll have to spend a lot of orbs trying to get this skill. He can pretty much hit someone, trigger Gale Force because of the special fighter built into his weapon. He also gets the impact effect, which is really good, and then just run away from there or maybe go for another kill. So that could be done, and Panic Smoke can definitely help you with that, as visible buffs are really common. Then Kempf is definitely a pretty good option. When the opponent is going to be facing Kempf, he can die and just attack you once and he will still inflict the status, which is going to be really annoying. But in your hands, you cannot really afford him to die because you're playing Arena, you cannot really allow any kind of deaths. So still, even though we are outside of the cheerleader metagame, he can still function with a double poison strike as a way to just weaken down many of the bulky and whale units after he can inflict, flash status, so that can just allow your other allies to just gang up on those units. So that could be done. He isn't really as powerful as Eliwood when it comes to hit and run and stuff like that with Gale Force. And if you want to invest a bit more into him, then you could also run Fatal Smoke and Lull Attack Speed, which can basically help him with the longevity. Most of the units in the whale tiers in the higher echelons are going to be using Ruptured Sky, so Fatal Smoke doesn't really do too much, but still I guess you could stop the healing from Ether and Mystic Boost, so that could be something that could be decent. Now, the reason why R Duel Cavalry doesn't really impress me that much compared to Green Duel Flying is because we don't have too many ranged Red Cavaliers. The only free-to-play one that we have is Valentine Titania, and she doesn't even have a preferred weapon. So, as I said before, having a ranged unit can help you with the AI manipulation, and having a mage can enable the Sorcery Blade Sacred Seal, which is highly underrated, and many people need to use it. But basically, having this kind of unit can definitely help you, and she can definitely bait out some units at range because she's a ranged unit, so that can help. She does have pretty respectable resistance, and you can also run her with Unity Blooms Plus from Hrid, but that is like very expensive for a free-to-play player. So on a budget, you could just run the Fox Tome and just couple it up with a lull skill. Because she doesn't have a preferred weapon, you will have to run a slot C skill that is tier 4. You could also run Mage Eirika. So she's the premium option basically when it comes to Mage Cavaliers, and she could run the R Duel Cavalry and definitely function pretty decently well. But similar to Minerva, if she's not able to finish off the whale units, then her weapon is straight up not going to be functioning because it can only function when the enemy is at full HP. So keep that in mind, and that's why we have to utilize stuff like Lull Speed Resistance and also Ruptured Sky to make sure that she can finish off units in a single round. We also have Sword Reinhardt as a candidate, so he can function in both phases, and Master Sword did get a weapon refine recently, so it does have the impact effect and can pretty much give the 10 attack stat differential, so that could be useful for triggering Heavy Blade if you want to run that. But he could also run the solo skill. He cannot really function in his full glory with this encounter, of course. You have to run the dual skill, so that pretty much limits him to the melee matchups. Ares is also another option, but I've kind of held off on suggesting him because I'm waiting until his weapon refine to see how he's gonna be in Arena, because as it is right now without his refine, you're much better off investing into someone like maybe Valentine's Titania or even Eliwood if you really want to use the skill. And now we move on to the best scoring options for Sword Cavalry units. Again, the reason is that they have an exclusive slot B skill that does score 300 SP. So just like Brave Micaiah, they can pretty much score a bit higher than the other units. Sigurd here pretty much becomes the best scoring Sword Cavalry unit with this R Duel Cavalry skill because of having Crusader's Ward. And he can be a bit decent because of the damage reduction, but still he's not really able to retaliate back at range, so he can function a bit better as a score bot. He is pretty good in the melee matchups though. You could run Joint Drive Attack because you need the slot C skill to be tier 4, and just use him with a solo Sacred Seal. Hrid can definitely function as a high scoring legendary unit now because of R Duel Cavalry, so if you have invested into him heavily, then he can function as a 180 BST legendary unit because he does have the exclusive slot B skill, and that exclusive slot B skill isn't really all that useful compared to the other exclusive skills, but still we need it for the arena scoring. At least he can negate the enemy follow-ups with his preferred weapon, so that is a bit decent, and he also gets the auto follow-up from that. Then we have got Eirika, so this is for most enthusiastic and dedicated Eirika fans, because investing into legendary Eirika with the dual skill, especially at Plus and Merge, in the water season is like having champagne without sham, because she's gonna be miserable against legendary Dimitri, legendary Chrom, which are gonna be present everywhere in the water season. So because of her color and the melee range, she does struggle against those really common legendary water units, which you are going to be facing in that season if you're going to be using her for that in the arena. Lunar Brace is of course pretty good for giving her much better damage output, so you have to pair this up with Ruptured Sky, which does become a 3-turn special, but still this is the best we can when it comes to her special for arena, and you can just run her with attack speed solo and Joint Drive Attack. Make sure to share this video with your friends who are thinking of using these dual skills for their arena core, and let me know in the comments what you think about these dual skills and the best users of it. I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support, and if you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as your sanity will be after you face a ton of Kempf in arena because of this dual skill. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.